Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kroll's Emerging Threat Weekly Briefing for the Monday of 23rd of March 2026. My name is Mikesh Nagar, and speaking with me today is Mark Messer and Ethan Afare from the Threat Intelligence team. Today I will be covering Storm 2561, using SEO poisoning to steal enterprise VPN credentials, as well as two Chrome 0-days CVE-2026-3909 and CVE-2026-3910, both of which are an active exploitation. Followed by this will be Ethan going through Teams voice phishing, leading to a quick assist compromise and credential theft. After that, Mark will be covering and giving us an insight in LeakNet, combining ClickFix social engineering with Deno-Based in-memory execution. Now, Microsoft has observed an escalation in credential theft activity linked to Storm 2561 using SEO poisoning, a tactic designed to intercept users who are legitimately searching for enterprise VPN software such as Fortinet and Ivanti. Microsoft observed that these searches are leading some users to highly polished spoofed download portals. From there, victims receive a GitHub-hosted zip file containing a Trojanized MSI installer. The attackers have gone to an unusual amount of lengths to make the packages appear trustworthy. This includes a counterfeit Pulse secure client, multiple malicious DLLs, and the files were even signed with legitimate certificates. These, which have now since been revoked. Once installed, the fake client silently harvests VPN usernames and passwords, as well as stored configuration data, including the contents of connectionstore.dat. The information is then exfiltrated to an attacker-controlled infrastructure to maintain persistence of the malware. Inserts itself into run once registry key, entering its relaunches after reboot. From an analysis perspective, the key point here is the level of operational maturity, trusted brand code signing GitHub as a delivery mechanism, and a redirect back to the real vendor site. After that, the theft occurs. These combined elements create a very low friction, high success social engineering path, particularly for remote workers and users who self-download VPN clients. What we can recommend is blocking or closely monitoring newly registered VPN lookalike domains, hunting for binaries signed with the revoked Taiwan Lihua certificate, as well as enforcing MFA for all VPN connectivities and reducing resilience on stored browser credentials for enterprise access. Now, moving on to the second story, what we have is from Google, which have issued 2 out-of-bound updates for 0-day vulnerabilities in Chrome, tracked as CVE-2026-3909 and CVE-2026-3910, both which have been confirmed to be under active exploitation. CVE-2026-3909 is an out-of-bounds write in the Skier graphics library, and CVE-2026-3910 is an inappropriate implementation inside the V8 JavaScript and WebAssembly engine, allowing a user to be compromised simply by visiting a malicious or compromised website, with the attacker's outcome ranging from arbitrary code execution to data theft or malware deployment. What we do advise is users to immediately update their browsers and verify endpoints have been restarted into the patched versions, prioritizing admins, developers, and executives, as well as anyone with escalated SaaS access. What we do also further recommend is to monitor for unmanaged or non-standard Chromium installations that fall outside the enterprise patch policy. What I'll now do is pass over to Ethan to go through us to talk more about Teams.
Thanks, Mikesh. Microsoft Incident Response, otherwise known as DART, investigated an identity-first cyber attack in which a threat actor used Microsoft Teams voice phishing, or vishing, to impersonate internal IT support and target employees. After multiple attempts, the attacker successfully convinced the user to grant remote access via Quick Assist, enabling initial compromise without exploiting any software vulnerabilities. Once inside, the attacker directed the user to a malicious website where corporate credentials were entered into a spoofed login page. This triggered the download of several payloads, including an MSI installer that sideloaded a malicious DLL to establish command and control while appearing legitimate. Additional tooling included encrypted loaders, remote command execution via administrative tools, proxy-based communication, credential harvesting, and session hijacking, all designed to blend into normal enterprise activity. Microsoft confirmed the intrusion was short-lived with no persistent mechanisms remaining after containment. The incident shows a growing trend of attackers exploiting human trust and collaboration platforms rather than technical flaws. DART recommends restricting external Teams communication, using allow lists for trusted domains, limiting or disabling remote access tools like Quick Assist, and training users to verify unsolicited support requests before granting access or entering credentials. Thank you, Mukesh.
Thanks, Ethan. Now over to Mark to talk about LeakNet.
Thank you, Mukesh. Dark Reading wrote that ReliQuest researchers have observed LeakNet using ClickFix lures for initial access and a Deno-Based loader to execute malicious JavaScript directly in memory. LeakNet's a very relatively recent ransomware-focused threat actor. In the observed chain, victims are tricked into running malicious commands through fake prompts, following which Visual Basic Script and PowerShell stages with names like Romeo.ps1 and Juliet.vbs installed the legit Deno runtime. ReliQuest described this as a bring your own runtime technique because the signed Deno binary can appear legitimate and leave fewer disk artifacts than a custom loader. Deno, by the way, is an open source JavaScript runtime. Once running, malware fingerprinted the host, generated a unique victim ID, and maintained a polling loop with command and control infrastructure. Post-exploitation activity reportedly included DLL sideloading via JLI.dll, credential discovering with klist, and lateral movement with psexec, and staging or exfiltration involving Amazon S3 buckets. Indications of compromise could include several tactics, such as Deno running outside of development environments, abnormal psexec usage, and MSI exec execution from browsers, unexpected bound traffic to Amazon S3, and DLL sideloading from abnormal locations. LeakNet has been active since late 2024, but the addition of ClickFix and Deno-Based in-memory execution shows continued ransomware group adoption of ClickFix, low-friction social engineering, and legitimate runtime abuse in order to reduce detection opportunities. Recommendations for mitigations do include alerting on Deno execution outside of approved developer environments, hunting for browser-originating script chains that lead to VBS, PowerShell, or MSI exec style execution, and monitoring for unexpected psexec usage, suspicious klist enumeration, and unusual outbound transfers to Amazon S3. Thank you, Mukesh.
Thanks, Mark. And that's all we have for this week. Thank you to both Mark and Ethan for presenting with me today. And if you have any questions, please contact us at cti@kroll.com. That's cti@kroll.com. Thank you and see you next week.